Have you ever asked the question, why do bad things happen to good people? Or perhaps worse yet, why do good things happen to bad people? If you're interested to learn more about that and why we think about things that way, stay tuned to MysterE's Mysteries. I am MysterE, and we are here to explore all things mysterious in the world of psychology. What we're going to explore today is something called the just world phenomenon. We live in a society where we always ask the questions, why do these things happen to me? Or why do these things happen to them? Or like I said initially, why do bad things happen to good people? Or why do good things happen to bad people? We live in a world where our mind is set up to think that the world is just. And what that means is that ultimately good things should happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. And sometimes that's just not the way the world is set up. But we are so wanting to live in a world that is linear and comfortable and safe that that's what we kind of expect. And that's okay because, you know, we like good things to happen to good people and that's kind of important to us, but that's just not the way things are set up. I had a former student, her name is Olivia, and she did not get into the college of her dreams. And when she was asking people about why this happened to them, so many of them said, you know, it's not fair, or the vintage comment, things happen for a reason. And she came up to me and told me that she didn't get in, and I had written a letter of recommendation for her. So there was a part of me that felt a certain level of ownership in this. And I just simply said to her, you know, Olivia, sometimes these things just happen. It's just a kind of a random toss of the coin. People are reading your essays and they're in a good mood, they're in a bad mood. Your story resonates with them, it doesn't resonate with them. Sometimes these things just happen, and it's just at times the chaos of the world. And she thanked me and she said, you know, I just kind of needed to hear that. And I think that is something that is very important for us to remember, that some things do just happen, and we don't always live in a just, fair world. Another one, and this is one that for many reasons gets to me a little bit. The very sensitive topic for me, but where people are in a job and things aren't going well for them in the job. So let's say you have somebody that's working at a company, a coffee company that is seen around the world. And the person is working at this coffee company and you know, some things just aren't happening that are particularly fair. And then you have people explaining it by saying something like, well, you kind of deserve it. You chose that company to work for. But what we don't understand is we don't always, not everyone, has the luxury to choose the company that they work for. And even if they choose that company, does that mean they deserve to be treated unfairly? And that's where people start to question this just world phenomenon where, well, you chose that job. You kind of deserve it. What? Why? Number one, they might not have chose it. It might have been within walking distance to their house and they can't afford transportation. Or it might have been the best job in that area for them to choose, but it's still just the best job in that area. Where you have, like, let's take me, for instance, I do have an opportunity to pick my jobs. I'm in a place where I can make those choices. But even if I have the opportunity to pick, does it still mean that I deserve to be treated unfairly in that job if I have done nothing wrong? Not necessarily, right? But we live in this world where we think that things need to be just, and that just doesn't happen. One of my favorite companies, for many different reasons, is Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Hopefully, maybe they'll support us on this and we can get some financial backing from them. But Ben & Jerry, I read an article about them, and they were talking about paying their fair share of taxes. And their very unique perspective on it was that what happened to them was not necessarily just. They didn't work harder than anybody else. They worked hard, but they also had a lot of luck. They were, they had a lot of good advice, and they ended up doing quite well for themselves. But they also recognized the fact that the world isn't just, that they didn't deserve everything that they got because they worked harder than everybody else in the world, that things worked out for them and they were happy about that. But that doesn't mean that they were any better or that they deserved these rewards any more than anybody else. And I just respected that so much. Because we do live in a day and age where we hear these people, I deserve this. I have this coming because I worked so hard, right? Why are you poor? Because you don't work hard. Why are you rich? Because I work hard. That may be the case. And we're not going to take anything away from people that are rich. Okay, maybe they did work exceptionally hard to get there, but there are also people that work exceptionally hard that don't necessarily have those benefits. And it's really very, very interesting phenomenon. But just world phenomenon. So that's where it's at. And I just kind of gave you a few examples, but go ahead and think about your lives and think about some of the things that you have experienced, and recognize that some of the things that happen to us are not just, they're not fair. But then some of the things that happen to other people are not necessarily just and fair too. And when we start to recognize that we do live in a bit of a chaotic world and a bit of a world where, bad things do happen to good people and good things do happen to bad people, that we recognize that, it is important to realize that we can help out those that are having bad things that are happening to them. And, we don't necessarily need to be bitter and angry about good things happening to bad people, because we recognize that that stuff just happens, right? There are times where I probably haven't deserved the rewards that I've gotten, but hey, here we are. So just a little something for you to chew on. Think about that. As always, make sure you subscribe to one of our podcasts that are found on any of those podcasting locations like Spotify and Apple, etc. Make sure that you follow us on YouTube. We're getting tons of views on YouTube, so check us out there. Instagram, TikTok, well, it's still available. Anything else out there. As always, thanks to my producer and director, Bear Wade, for all of his hard work. Check him out as well. Thank you all and have a great day. See ya.